You're listening to Popcorn Unscripted,
the podcast where we dive into movies and TV shows with no scripts, no filters, just real talk and plenty of popcorn.
I'm Bailey.
And I'm Dylan.
We're here to talk about everything we love
And love to hate.
in pop culture. So grab your popcorn,
Sit back.
and let's get this show started. All right, Dylan. It is episode 14.
Yep.
What movie we doing today?
We are doing Ghost Rider
Ghost Rider!
from 2007.
Yeah, Nicolas Cage. In his prime.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, you see those...
You see those washboard abs.
Washboard abs?
You did?
I have never heard that kind of terminology for muscle.
Washboard abs. You've never heard of washboard abs?
I can honestly say I've never heard that. And honestly,
You're not missing much.
I'm glad that I didn't know until now.
Yeah,
Now
that's
I
what they
regret
were called
everything.
back in the day, Dylan.
Yeah, I now regret it.
That's what they
Now
were
you
called.
can't even say it with a straight face. Jesus Christ.
Honestly, the abs very much surprised me.
Honestly, I couldn't tell if they were sprayed on.
No, they're definitely not sprayed on. Those were very, very real, and I was very, very surprised.
To be
'Cause I
fair,
was
this
like-
is 2007.
I was like, damn, you go, Nick Cage!
Yeah,
Whoop,
sadly,
whoop.
he ain't got that body anymore.
Unfortunately. But dad bod works too.
Great, we only see, like, barely any of him for after this, probably.
Yeah, I don't think he ever does any more shirtless scenes after that. Well, no, I take that back. He might have in one particular movie. But I don't know what movie it is. No, yeah. He did he was shirtless in a pool scene in Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent.
Ah. Also, there was also a movie called Driving Angry that he was in, too. I don't know about that one.
I
I
don't
haven't
know.
watched it.
I don't
All I
know
know is
about
that
one.
he does play a part in it. That's all I know.
Yeah. I don't know.
But we're doing Ghost Rider, and that was a little tangent.
Little. We had to talk about the abs.
Well, you because you were just surprised by it.
I was very surprised. You should have heard me on the call yesterday. I was just
Oh,
like,
I heard
damn.
you. I heard you full on.
I was like, damn, Nick Cage got washboard abs.
God, washboard abs. I've never heard that terminology whatsoever.
Ask
I can
McKenna.
honestly say that's the first time I've ever heard it, and now I regret ever hearing it.
Ask McKenna about it.
Oh, God. I don't want to know. But we're going to just segue into our first question. After that, surfboard abs. Jesus.
Washboard abs.
Washboard abs.
I was about to say surfboard abs. Where'd you get that from?
Honestly, it sounds exactly the same. But anyway, how did you feel about Nicolas Cage's portrayal of Johnny Braze? God, you got me tripped up now with washboard abs. God damn.
I got him tripped up, guys.
Did his performance fit the character of Ghost Rider, or was it a bit too over the top for you?
Well, it's Nick Cage. What?
Yeah,
he does what you expect of him,
Yeah, I would say
especially with an early 2000s Nick Cage.
I would say he doesn't go over the top at all. I would
Uh-uh.
say he goes over the top in the sequel to us.
Yeah,
He's
he kind
very-
of overdoes it a little bit in Spirit of Vengeance.
Yeah, he's a little exaggerated with the movements, but he does add on that creepy factor for Ghost Rider, and I think it fits well.
It really does. I think so too.
It's just maybe a little too over exaggerated.
Yeah, just in the second one though.
Yeah, but in this one, he seems to do a pretty good job.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't think this movie deserved the ratings that it got.
Yeah. Especially on rewatch, a lot of the CGI, most of the CGI in this held up pretty well.
Yeah, I agree with that too.
It's just that some frames, like certain frames of like either the skeleton on the skeleton, it looks a little janky.
Yeah. Which there was one scene where he was like walking out of the thing before he gets hit with the truck when he's actually Ghost Rider for the first time. I noticed his shoulders
Was broader.
were way too broad for his head.
I do find funny the fact that it's Nicolas Cage with face paint on to make it
to do the CGI.
To do CGI, so it's very funny to me is that he's still the same character, but it's just that they had to change the skeleton head.
Yeah.
And so it just kills me because I've seen the behind the scenes for both of them. Behind the scenes for both movies, and it's very funny seeing Nicolas Cage like doing these over exaggerated movements but with face paint on to look like a skull. It's very funny to me.
Yeah, it's just Nicolas Cage.
It's just very Nicolas Cage, honestly.
It really is.
But yeah, I think he doesn't do very over the top. He just fits it very well.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like he was made to play that character almost.
Especially seeing the fact that we're seeing this from, he's supposed to be an adult, but he does have these like moments of childlike moments.
It's like he's almost stuck there.
Yeah, watching the monkey do, I think it was kung fu or something. It was that monkey is like almost in like a martial arts.
Oh yeah.
And then he's he flips this dude over him and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And he's laughing his butt off at it.
Yeah.
It's like he's got these moments of like childlike wonder and humor, but then he has these moments of like adult,
very mature adult. Yeah.
But it's like but then again, after seeing the backstory of like what he's gone through, especially with facing death at every turn and then coming right back up,
yeah,
it really shows that he's just kind of stuck.
Yeah.
So he really didn't. He was kind of forced to age up against his will, pretty much.
Which I also noticed with like some of the crashes, he should have died.
Oh yeah,
there was like he should have died, and I think the reason that he did all of these jumps is because I think he knew that Mephisto was keeping him alive the whole entire time.
Yep.
And that's why he kept trying to do all these crazy stunts to prove to himself that he's the one doing it, and it's not Mephisto the one keeping him alive. That he's the one doing it himself. Which I think they mention that.
He does. Mephisto actually answers that exact question, saying that he's not the one doing it, and it's actually Johnny.
Yeah.
And which I think is very interesting, too, is the fact that he already answered that question, because it does make sense. Because, granted, he's watching every single time, but at the same time, it is really Johnny come back every single time. But that's also because of the writer, too, keeping him alive also. Since he kind of... he's nothing without the host.
Yeah.
Well, I think... it also depends on what continuity.
Well, if you think ahead at Spirit of Vengeance when they got rid of the Ghost Rider completely.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. But the reason why I say it depends on the contents because of the fact that Zarathos is only being put in a host's body to limit him. And they're constantly fighting each other to like keep control of Zarathos. But once he takes fully over, it's game over from there. But that I don't know about in this context though. I don't know if he's like if Johnny's like a limiter or if he's more so just
he learns to control it.
Over him.
He learns to control it.
Yeah.
Because he's able to like turn on and off the spirit at will.
Yeah. Grant, I guess I'm used to like some of the comics because Zarathos actually talks to Johnny actually in the comics and everything.
It's almost like how Khonshu talks to Moon Knight.
Yeah.
Moon Knight's kind of the same way as Ghost Rider. He's possessed by, which is how he has multiple personalities in the first place. So Moon Knight is kind of the same deal as Ghost Rider because Khonshu is a Greek god. So and every Greek god has a host. Just like how So that's why these things kind of go hand in hand.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But Grant, that's what I was thinking is like, what is the context for Zarathos in this context for the movie? Because he just acts like basically a spirit just being put into the body and giving the host the powers.
Yes. But you also have to think there is not just Johnny Blaze that's Ghost Rider. There are there's multiple Ghost Riders. Because in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. you have Robbie Reyes.
Yeah. Because Mephisto actually gives the rider Zarathos to every single iteration of Ghost Rider.
Mm-hmm.
That's I don't know if they can be at the same time though, but they do like.
Well, we do know that the power eventually goes away because of Carter Slade.
Yeah, in this context, yes. I don't know comic book wise. I don't fully know. I need to do more research in that one.
Yeah,
because I think they can share the power, but there's only one Zarathos. Zarathos. I can't say that name. Zarathos. It's kind of a struggle for me, almost.
It's a tongue twister.
It is a bit. But I can't tell if there's only one of him, or if there's if he just, when he's given to someone, the power lingers for a while until it burns out, like for Carter Slade.
That would make sense, though.
It almost puts me in mind of All Might from My Hero Academia.
Yeah.
He can still use One for All, but the power is mainly with Izuku.
Mm-hmm.
But he can still use like the embers for the last battle against All for One,
mm-hmm.
and then it's completely snuffed out.
Mm-hmm.
It just puts me in mind of that, honestly.
Yeah.
But I don't know the full context of how Zarathos works in this context.
Yeah.
Because it just feels like he's a spirit just being given the powers to the person he's made the deal with.
So it's like, I just had the thought. I was like, well, maybe Zarathos actually does talk to Johnny, but we don't hear those conversations.
Maybe. But it's like he doesn't acknowledge him, period.
Yeah, so it's like, I feel like they have conversations in Johnny's head, which is why there are sometimes Ghost Rider speaks, and then, because there's that one scene where the cop tries to shoot at him, and Ghost Rider just turns to him, and he just holds up his finger. He's like,
To be fair, that could be Zarathos. Every time, I see what you mean. Like, it's Zarathos taking over when he becomes a rider.
Yeah.
Not Johnny.
Yeah.
That
but I
makes
feel
sense.
like Johnny also has an influence on Zarathos.
True.
Which is why Zarathos kind of acts like Johnny in certain ways.
Well, that is the point of him having a host, is to keep him at base from taking full control.
Right. So
it's going to be Johnny using him in the rider form, but he's only limiting how much power he can use, really.
Yeah.
And he's, in comic book wise, he's constantly fighting him to keep control.
Kind of like the Hulk.
Exactly. It's just kind of a weird thing, honestly, because I'm so used to, like, in the comics of that. So rewatching it is like, where are all the voices of them having conversations or anything?
Mm-hmm.
But then again, I think this is back when they didn't have, like, the full rights of Ghost Rider, so they only could use, like, certain stuff.
Yeah, because Marvel didn't get back the rights to Ghost Rider until 2011?
I think so,
if
for
I
Agents
remember.
of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah, because they had to get the rights, they had to buy the rights back before they could even put him in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah, but even then, they barely used him in that. I kind of like the design of the skull in that. I kind of do, but at the same time,
it grows on you.
Yeah, it grows on you, but at the same time, it's the nostalgia also.
Yeah.
I just
because it's like you grew up with Nick Cage's
call
Ghost
it bias
Rider.
all you want, but at the same time, it's so.
It's just like us liking Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man better.
True.
It's just nostalgia to us.
To be fair, I think it's also because the skull looks weird in the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. It doesn't look like a normal skull.
Which you also have to think, TV has a different budget from movie.
True. But it almost looks like a mask, more so than an actual skull.
Yeah.
So it's like
I haven't watched Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. in a while, so
I've only seen the clips. But from what I've seen from the transformation, it looks like he's wearing a mask, but it has the fire coming out of the mask, like where the nose would be, where the mouth is, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It just looks... It grows on you, yes, but at the same time, it just looks a little off.
Yeah.
But next, Johnny Blaze becomes Ghost Rider after making a deal with the devil. How do you think the film presents the mortality of his decision? Is Johnny a tragic character, or does he simply get what he deserves? Dang, that's a messed up question.
That's a very messed up question.
Holy crap!
Dang.
He just wanted to keep his dad from dying from cancer. What the heck?
Which, that's what Carter Slade also points out, is like, you didn't do it for selfish reasons, you did it for the right reasons. And that's why you have power over this, is because you did it for the right reasons. So you're not a sinful soul. Yeah,
he didn't do it for power, he just wanted to keep his dad alive.
Yeah.
That's all that really mattered at the end of the day.
Yeah,
but so... Jesus, or does he simply get what he deserves?
I don't think he deserved what he got, honestly. Yeah. I'm like, I mean, yeah, Mephisto held up his end of the bargain, but at the end of the day, his dad still died.
Yeah, at the same, and tragically,
yeah.
A freaking stunt gone bad and got burned.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Like, daggum.
Got what he deserved. Good God. I like to keep in mind, this is the first time we're seeing these questions also.
Yeah.
So if we react shocked or something by a question, that's why. We've not seen these yet.
Fun fact, I use ChatGPT.
And honestly, we got pretty good questions out of these, especially with the Ready Player One episode.
Oh yeah.
That has some really good questions.
I'm not smart enough to come up with own questions. That's too many questions to come up with.
I mean, to be fair, it gives some really good questions throughout the movie and everything, especially with certain stuff. Like, heck, origin, powers, villains, and stuff like that. It does a good job. It's really just that some of these, good God.
Yeah.
I was not expecting it. Does he simply get what he deserves? Jesus Christ.
Yeah, for real.
Okay.
Sometimes ChatGPT can be
brutal.
Just...
Are you sure you didn't put this in Roastbot?
I promise I didn't. I don't even know what Roastbot is. So.
McKenna showed me that there is a version of ChatGPT where you tell it, hey, give it a picture or something, or just a prompt. It said, hey,
I know what you're talking
roast
about now.
this. It can be brutal.
I know what you're talking about. Because didn't she do that with one of her cats?
Yes.
Yeah.
Midlife crisis cat.
Yeah, midlife crisis.
But now... I may should have skipped that, but Jesus, I wasn't expecting that. How does Johnny Blaze's backstory affect his motivations throughout the film, and does it add emotional depth to his character, or does it feel more like a plot device?
I would say it affects him pretty... quite a bit, because he does all of these cool stunts in honor of his dad.
Yeah. Especially with the helicopter one over the football field. That was one of the tricks stunts that his dad wanted to do.
I took out the cars.
Yeah, I took out the cars. Yeah, you
did. But you didn't tell me about it
because I knew how you react. It's just the line delivery is what kills me.
It's so funny. It's just so funny.
Yeah, it is really cool.
Yeah, it is really cool. But helicopters, man. Why helicopters?
My dad wanted it.
Yeah.
I mean, he's honoring his dad with that one.
He is. So you gotta give it to it. You gotta give it to him for that one.
But yeah, I wouldn't call it a plot device, honestly.
I wouldn't either.
His character has a good amount of emotional depth into it.
Yeah, it does affect him quite a bit because not only does his dad die, but he also leaves Roxanne.
Yeah. Yeah, he left her at the tree where they were planning to run away at.
Mm-hmm.
And just left.
Mm-hmm.
So he's kind of just stuck in the past, honestly. But at the same time, it's
which makes sense that he has that childlike thing because he's stuck in the past.
He's stuck as that child, just forced to grow up way faster than he really needed to be.
Mm-hmm.
Even though it can be said for a lot of stuff in this world, honestly.
Yeah. So that you could say that part kind of holds up.
Mm-hmm.
Because there are a lot of kids, unfortunately, that have to grow up really quickly.
Yeah.
And when they, yeah, it's a cruel world we live in nowadays.
Yeah, so I feel like this definitely does give emotional depth to his character,
Absolutely.
along with explaining how he acts, how he talks, and everything.
Oh, yeah.
Especially when he was stuttering over his words when he met Roxanne years later as a news reporter.
Uh-huh.
It makes complete sense because he has not seen her since that day.
Yeah.
So
he has not seen or heard from her.
Well, he's seen her because he did say he's watched her news articles and everything.
Yeah.
But
he never did reach out to her or anything like that.
To be fair, I don't think he could have.
Yeah. Well, he probably could have.
Maybe
he could have reached out to like the news station if he wanted to.
True. I guess it really just depends, honestly.
But I don't think he wanted to because I think he kind of held guilt for leaving her there at the tree.
Yeah. And
which is why he was kind of like really shocked that he got a second chance with her.
I mean, to be fair, in that situation, especially with what you're doing also, I don't blame him.
Yeah.
Especially with almost basically getting yourself killed just for the second date.
Yeah.
I do find that funny, honestly. Hey, can you help me out here? As the dude's driving the van and everything, he's like, sorry, she's the boss.
Yeah. I love that scene so much. It's so funny.
Are you trying to get yourself killed? I mean, have you forgot who I am?
Yeah. For real.
But now we're moving on to Ghost Rider's powers.
Okay.
The Ghost Rider's powers are visually stunning, but what do you think of the concept of his powers? Are they fitting extensions of Johnny's internal turmoil, or do they feel like a disconnected supernatural force?
I do believe it connects to Johnny like quite a bit because you notice that it's definitely connected to Johnny because when you see the scenes where he is with Roxanne, like when he drops down from the building after killing the first demon.
Yeah.
With spinning the chain on and setting the wind demon on fire. I can't remember his name.
That's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very, very cool. I like that one. I
can't remember his name, honestly.
I can't remember all of their names. But anyway, he drops down and he looks directly at her and his flames go blue. To me, which of course we know since we've watched Spirit of Vengeance, we know that's the angel coming through.
Mm-hmm.
That's the angel part of them, Zarathos coming through.
Which I think is a neat detail, honestly. It's like almost like it foreshadowed the end of the second movie.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, it almost feels like he does have some level of control over
already
over the Ghost Rider, so it gives him that added like I don't know how to put it.
Mm-hmm.
More added like control of the power, that way he can make it his own.
Mm-hmm.
While at the same time not depending so much on the Ghost Rider's abilities itself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because even though he did right after get lit up like a Christmas tree, basically.
He did. Which I'm surprised, which is funny to me why they didn't do that scene where he just shoots all of the bullets out of his mouth like they did in the second one.
Well, I think it's because it did make a point and it was very good of them to do for explaining that one. They only went for body shots. They didn't go for the head.
That's true.
So I think that kind of explains it. But at the same time, we also got to take into account
see what you're saying.
The second movie was years later, and the dude opened fire at point blank range into his mouth.
Yeah, that's true. I forgot about that. Yeah.
But then again, I feel like the second movie explains a lot with the Ghost Rider. Seeing the fact that he got faster with it.
But you see some heroes where they get shot, they like soak in the bullets into their flesh and then regurgitate them back out and shoot them out their mouth.
Well, with the Ghost Rider, this one's kind of different because once again, we're calling back to the second movie again.
Yeah.
He spits it out in molten lava.
Yeah.
Or molten metal, basically.
Well, because Ghost Rider's on fire.
Yeah. So in the that will explain the first one that the bullets just melted inside of him once they
Yeah,
broke
that's
through
true.
the jacket.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's like at the same time, it's like he can't. There's nothing to go through him or stay in him. It's being melted as soon as it enters.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's like
That makes me wonder how hot his flames actually are.
I mean, to be fair, this is Hellfire we're talking about.
That's
This is
true.
the hottest fire ever.
That's true.
Because this is literally the flames made in hell.
That's true, yeah.
So this is again like, but then again, this is also pointing out because in the comics, I keep going back to this every single time.
Well, we kind of have to.
Yeah, but then again, it's from his Hellfire. It burns the soul.
Right, because you have the penance stare.
Yeah, so you use the penance stare, but even his flames are basically they attack the soul of the person it's being used on.
Yeah.
So that's why it's important to know that it's Hellfire and not just regular fire.
Yeah.
That way it does more damage to the person along with healing them on a spiritual level as well.
No, soul level.
Soul level, my bad, not spiritual.
Soul level. Completely different thing.
Yeah.
Completely different. No. Doesn't attack the spirit at all. It's just the soul.
Only the soul.
Only the soul. Just want to clarify.
But yeah, it does. It's basically that is the reason why how hot it is because it's the hottest thing ever.
Yeah, and also we also learned that the penance stare also does not necessarily kill the person.
Also, just depends on the continuity.
No, it depends on how bad the person's sins are.
Oh, I thought we also established that it depends on the continuity it's being used in. Okay.
It's just in general. It doesn't necessarily kill, and it depends on how bad the sins are of the soul.
And like I said yesterday, that means Galactus in the anime series of, I think it was Fantastic Four or something.
No, you didn't say Fantastic Four. It was one of the Avengers.
Well, he was fighting the Fantastic Four, and then Ghost Rider just came up and killed him instantly with the pin stare. Of course.
Yeah.
And, well, then again, that continuity is shoot out like a laser beam. He didn't actually look into the person's eyes.
Yeah.
So it also depends on how it's used in the continuity.
Yeah.
If it can be used as laser, or it could be just, he has to actually stare into the person's eyes.
Which makes more sense that you actually have to have hold of the person and stare into their eyes.
True.
Which that makes more sense to me than laser beams.
Either way, it's aiming is right into the person's eyes. So he's looking at the person's eyes. It's just that he's doing it for a longer range.
Either that, or they use laser beams to
establish
that they're looking in each other's eyes.
True. It's just, but it's
because in animation, it's kind of hard to do that.
Yeah. I guess the reason why I say it's like a laser beam is because it had almost like a fiery effect when it shot out. So it's like, oh, it shoots out like a laser in some aspects.
Yeah.
But then again, it could be like what you're saying. It's just established that, yes, they are looking at each other's eyes, and that's why it's working.
I just had a thought.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the computer about to blow up.
No, I just had a thought.
Uh-oh.
All they have to do to defeat Doom is just have Ghost Rider pin and stare him to death.
To be fair, I think in the comics he actually has defeated Doom.
I don't know. I'd have to look that up.
I think he hasn't defeated Thanos, though.
Well, I know Doom has defeated Thanos.
Yeah.
Ripped his whole skeleton out of his body.
Oh,
but I don't know about Ghost Rider defeating Doom in the comics. Because really all they have to do is just find a Ghost Rider and just be like, go stare into his eyes. It's literally all they'd have to do. And then he's dead.
Oh, no, okay. Wait.
But that's too easy.
Then again, I got people, suggesting battles for this. I thought this actually happened in the comics.
What happened?
That Dr. Doom actually did lose to Ghost Rider, but I guess not. People are doing, character fights for this.
Oh.
So I guess they haven't actually fought each other in the comics.
Interesting. That would be an interesting fight, honestly.
Because The AI overview is giving me in a one-on-one fight, Doctor Doom is likely to defeat Ghost Rider. It's because of the superior durability in Doctor Doom's suit, including force fields, making it difficult for Ghost Rider's physical attacks to penetrate.
That's true. But then again, if Ghost Rider can get close enough and can actually pin him down to where he's staring into his eyes.
Well, we're also not taking into account the fact that Ghost Rider uses a chain that he lights on fire.
Yeah.
He can just wrap it around Doctor Doom and heat up his suit.
Well, that's what they do in the Fox Fantastic Four.
Oh, really?
That's what they do. What happens to metal when it gets super hot? And then Johnny does a supernova around Doctor Doom, which takes off all of his clothes because his whole body had turned to metal.
Yeah.
And so then Mr. Fantastic goes like pop quiz or something. He was like, what happens when you rapidly cool hot metal? It freezes.
Ooh.
And so what they do is they have Johnny rapidly heat Doctor Doom up in a supernova, and then they spray water onto him, which rapidly cools him down and freezes him in position. And he stays like that. And that's how they trapped him. And defeated him.
Oh, gotcha. The reason I say this is because since we're also using, instead of Johnny's fire, we're using Hellfire in this scenario.
That would be interesting, him doing the spinny thing on Doctor Doom instead of Johnny. But I wouldn't know how he would do that, because when Johnny did it in the movie, Doctor Doom was standing and Johnny could fly around him.
Yeah, but then again, Johnny would just, it's gonna be confusing. Ghost Rider would just throw the chain around around Doctor Doom, like he did that one demon in the train yard.
Yeah.
And then just do it that way. They'll start heating up his suit because he's got nowhere else to go. Not to mention, it depending on how wrap it around
you're
him.
also underestimating Doctor Doom's strength.
True.
Because, as I mentioned, Doctor Doom ripped out Thanos' skeleton from his own flesh. That is how strong Doctor Doom is. He could easily snap that chain.
To be fair, I don't think you can break Ghost Rider's chain. I could be 100% wrong in that.
I'm sure you can, because it's just a normal chain. In the movie it is. It's just a normal chain.
In the movie, but in the comics, he can actually summon this out of his hand. So it's like almost like it's an extinction of him.
It's almost like he's Spider-Man, but with a chain.
Pretty much. Okay. With incredible durability, it can be broken. Because it's infused with Hellfire.
It can't be broken, or can?
Can't.
Okay.
It's not indestructible, and its durability depends on how much Hellfire is infused in it. Okay. So depends on how much Hellfire he's using on it, you have to be incredibly strong to break that.
Which I honestly think Doctor Doom would have that strength, though.
He could be.
I definitely think he could, which I'm not going to underestimate Doctor Doom because I know how powerful he is.
True.
But I don't know. I think it would be I just think it'd be a really good fight, though.
Oh, yeah.
I think that would be a very interesting fight.
Because I do know that, I do know for a fact that Ghost Rider did lose to Thanos. I know that for a fact. I don't know which version of Ghost Rider. Because I know for a fact the Galactus version of Ghost Rider did fight and lose to him. I don't know about any other iteration of him.
Interesting.
But Galactus Ghost Rider did, in fact, fight Thanos and lose. I don't know how long it was drawn out for or how long it went for, though.
Interesting.
But I do know it ended with Thanos having now the Ghost Rider skull. Or that Ghost Rider skull.
Interesting. But you also have to think Thanos is just a big titan.
To be fair, this also with time travel aspects.
Yeah.
So this involved also later on the younger Thanos also killing his adult...
You're talking about Cosmic Ghost Rider, aren't you?
Yeah. Cosmic Ghost Rider.
Okay.
Because that involved younger Thanos killing his future version.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is a whole nother can of worms.
Yeah, it's a whole different story. We'll talk about later.
Because, not to mention, Cosmic Ghost Rider actually raised younger Thanos.
I did not know
in that.
I did not know that.
Which is kind of
Which I don't really know a whole lot
funny.
about Cosmic Ghost Rider, though.
I only know a little bit because I had to look up a lot of the stuff months ago.
Yeah.
Or, I think it was last year actually, because I was very interested in how Cosmic Ghost Rider worked.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a lot of time travel aspects.
Well, I think it's because me and a coworker of ours got you into that Marvel mobile game and Cosmic Ghost Rider's in it.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. I think he is.
Marvel is it Strike Force?
Yeah, Marvel Strike Force is what
Is that
it was.
what it is?
It was that app or something.
I'm pretty sure it's Strike Force.
All right,
That's
it had
the one that
Ghost Rider in it.
Yeah, it had Ghost Rider in it.
But, how does...
No, it's Future Fight.
Is it?
It's one of the two. I get my Marvel games mixed up.
True. Well, moving on.
Tangent done.
How does Ghost Rider's transformation visual reflect his inner struggles, and do you think his appearance as the Flaming Skull is effective in conveying the character's torment and vengeance?
Yes.
I do agree.
Yes. Because I think there's some scenes where his flame is kind of dimmer than others. And that's because I think it depends on who he's fighting and who's he's in front of.
That's very true. I still laugh at the one with the water demon.
Oh, yeah. That scene's always funny.
He thinks he's drowning and then surprise!
Surprise! Literally boils him to death.
I love how the fact that the dude's demonic face pops like a bubble and he's like, huh?
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, I'm screwed.
Like, oh, I'm gonna be boiled to death.
But I like his transformation. Yes, it might be a little over-exaggerated.
Yes, a little.
I can admit that. But at the same time, it does a good job portraying that...
I don't care.
It does a good job portraying that this is the very first time he is transforming, so this is going to be painful.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, you're literally having all the flesh and nerves burned off of you, pretty much.
Yeah.
Because I was like, you're going to be feeling that at least.
Oh, yeah. Very much.
Because, I mean, we got to take into account, he's literally just a walking skeleton, but wearing biker gear, pretty much.
Pretty much, yeah.
It's just a flaming skeleton, so he's got no flesh, no muscles, no nervous system, but it's all burning all at once.
See, it just makes me wonder how they came up with Ghost Rider as a character.
I don't know.
I want to know that thought process.
I am too, because honestly, I love the idea of Ghost Rider. The fact that it's literally the angel of justice being tormented by Mephisto until it's breaking. And then it's obsessed with killing every single person as sin.
Mm-hmm.
And
no, not necessarily killing them, but punishing them.
Well, punishing them, yes. Not killing them. It depends. Yeah, it also depends on how their sins are.
Yeah.
And how many.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, let's face it, Galactus deserved it.
Yeah, oh yeah. Big time. He's the destroyer of worlds and he eats them.
But then again, we also know that it has its limitations.
Yes.
The fact that if the person does not have a soul, it means nothing.
Yes.
So it can't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
If the person does not regret what they feel, it ain't gonna do nothing either.
Yeah.
So they literally have to have some way for the Panster to work fully.
Yeah.
And cause harm on them.
Absolutely.
But I mean, the transformation, I think, does a really good job with his inner struggles because, I mean, it's literally that side that he does not want.
Yeah.
Coming out and taking form, pretty much.
Yeah. And then it's like, by the end of the movie, Johnny's kind of accepting of it.
Mm.
And then it's like, and then Mephisto wants to take it back, and Johnny looks at him and he's like, no, I'm just going to keep it.
I'm not going to let someone else
It's like
put
a big
up with
middle
this.
finger to him. It's like, no, I'm going to keep it, and I'm going to end you with it.
I do like the fact that he does say that he's basically going to make this power his own.
Mm-hmm.
I do like the fact that he says that flat out.
And you do eventually see that in the second movie.
Well,
Which in the second movie, he more so tries to get rid of it.
Yeah.
Because it's like he can't... Because it's almost like he can't control it. Or there's like some sort of conflict going on in his head with Zarathos.
Yeah, I do find that weird how the first and second one, the ending of the first one contradicts the second movie in the beginning. Because he says he's also gone and completely rogue. He's left America and went to Europe.
Yeah.
And has basically refused to become the Rider again.
Yeah.
Like almost like it's a burden having that power now all of a sudden.
But we also don't know how much... Well, we know it's been a few years... But we don't know what's happened in those few years since the first movie and the second movie.
Yeah.
We don't know what's happened to him to be like, I don't want to be the Rider anymore. I refuse to turn.
Then again, I feel like it's kind of hard to be the Rider, especially seeing the fact that you're basically seeing every single sin a person has committed.
You're seeing every single horrible act that person has done.
Yeah,
like
that's gotta take a mental toll.
Like the worst of the worst.
Mm-hmm.
Like
you're stuck seeing.
I'm not gonna
that.
try to say specifics because I don't want to trigger anybody, but
not to mention we don't know what we're allowed to say.
But, well,
best not to test the waters.
Yeah,
but and also not to trigger anyone's trauma with that either.
Don't want to trigger anybody. That'd be bad.
Yeah.
That'd be bad. We don't want to hurt you, Pookies.
Yeah, we have no clue what has happened between the end of the first movie and now for him to get rid of the Rider completely.
Yeah.
Especially the fact that to his knowledge, there's no way of getting rid of this unless it's through Mephisto himself.
Yeah.
And we know for a fact he don't want that.
Mm-mm.
But granted, it's like one of those things that's after a while of dealing with the turmoil that you're constantly going through with seeing all that with every single person that you meet, basically, I would want to get rid of that power as well.
Yeah.
And not to mention, we're still not sure if they're actually communicating with each other also. So it could also be Zarathos causing him to want to get rid of it too, of himself.
I don't think so, because why would Zarathos want that?
Well, I'm talking like constantly wanting to come out, basically. Become the Rider.
That is not how you put that. That is not what you just said. That is not how you put that.
I'm confused.
That's not how you put that.
I'm confused.
You put that as if Zarathos wants to get rid of Johnny.
Oh, no.
That's what I heard.
More so, it's like, I'm thinking like how it is in the comics of him wanting to constantly take control fully.
See, now that makes sense.
My bad. It almost like he's constantly like messing with Johnny's head and everything to try and break his will down to where he can come out fully.
Yeah.
And it's almost like Johnny is almost going through a existential crisis because of
that thing.
And it's completely understandable if you with Zarathos, especially with what he's able to see.
Yeah.
With people.
Mm-hmm.
So it's almost like he's trying to break down Johnny to where he can come out fully.
Yeah. And completely take over.
Yeah, but he's also at the same time trying to hold him back as best he can.
Mm-hmm.
Because we even see that he's also when he becomes the Rider again, the second one, he then he's actually begging the Rider to come out.
Mm-hmm.
Like almost like he's saying, "I know I didn't want you to take over anymore, but I need you to do this one more time."
Mm-hmm.
And everything.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like for the rest of the movie,
I know I betrayed you, but I need you now.
Basically, but because we also see that with that girl when she's trying to get information for her whereabouts of her kid.
Yeah.
He was losing control of the Rider too.
Yeah,
it was taking over against his will.
And then you have the scene in the second one where he completely takes over that machinery, and it just
that's cool as hell.
It was so freaking cool. I love that scene. That's probably my favorite scene. That's probably why I like Spirit of Vengeance so much, just because of that scene.
I just like the idea of the fact that whatever the writer touches, it becomes this hellish version of that thing.
Yeah.
Especially with that machinery. That was cool as heck. Especially that it could blast flames out people.
Yeah.
That's cool as hell.
It really is. It really is.
But now we'll move on to the villain and antagonist.
Yay!
Mephisto in the first one is played by Peter Fonda. Is the primary antagonist in Ghost Rider. How do you feel about his role as the devil, and does he make for a compelling villain, or is he a character overshadowed by Johnny's journey?
I feel like he's a character that's overshadowed by Blackheart.
Yeah.
Because we had this discussion just a few minutes ago where I was like, I don't think Mephisto's even the main villain of this movie. I think it's Blackheart mostly.
Yeah, he only shows up a total of 6 times throughout the whole film.
Yeah, I genuinely think Blackheart's mostly the main villain than Mephisto is. Even though Mephisto is the one that engaged with Johnny first.
But then again, I think they probably did it that way to set him up as the villain in the next film.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there was no guarantee that there was going to be a second film.
Oh yeah, especially with the way the critics did this film. We didn't know if there was going to be a second film or not.
To be fair, I think that's just one of those things where it's like, yes, we know this first one didn't go well, but at the same time, we're still going to try and make it better with the second one.
Yep.
Because, I mean, I don't fully know the rating system for Spirit of Vengeance.
It's bad.
What, Spirit of Vengeance?
Yeah, it's bad.
Ooh, okay.
I looked it up last night and I was just like, ooh.
Yeah,
better luck next
got
time.
18% on tomato meter, 31% popcorn meter.
Yeah. It didn't do well with critics or audience.
Yep. Well, heck, it did worse than the first one.
Yeah.
Because the first one was 28% tomato meter, 48% popcorn meter.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I feel like it had more visuals than the second one, honestly.
Yeah, there was a lot more visuals in the second one, and I think that's probably why people didn't like it as much, because there wasn't as much story.
I mean, to be fair, with the way they were going about the story, it's kind of all over the place.
Yeah, I can see that.
But then again, I do get the gist of it, the fact that Mephisto's body is starting to become old, that he needs a new body to host.
Mm-hmm.
That way he can stay on Earth. Because his power is because it explains in the first one, or the second one. No, it's the beginning of the second one. Where his power is dependent on Earth. But he gets his full power while he's in hell. But the body is what's giving him the ability to be on Earth. Oh, you got an idea?
I had a thought. Maybe that's why they changed actors.
Well, even so, that wouldn't make sense either, because they look exactly the same age. They're kind of an older gentleman, both ways. It's just one
So
looks
it's like
a little
that
older.
one died. Let's say that one died, and then he goes to a different one.
Oh,
That's what I'm saying.
I guess, but at the same time,
Like, that host ended up, like, dying, and then he had to go to another host. And then that one started dying, and then it just kind of goes on from there.
Well, it does explain that that's how it works in the second film. It's just, I don't know if that much time has passed for that to really...
Which, again, we don't know how much time has passed.
We don't know, but at the same time, would it really be what makes sense for him to try and use a older body in the second film as a new host, and then proceed to try and get the body of a child?
Which I would assume that you have to be willing to give your body over.
Maybe.
I think that's how it works, is you have to be willing to give your body in order for him to actually be a host. To actually be a host for Mephisto.
I don't know, because it looked like...
Because he does have to, he does manipulate. He does like to manipulate.
True, that's a specialty. That makes perfect sense.
But the little boy in the second film is his son.
Yeah.
It's not like he's trying to become
Or just a random
his
person.
host. It's his son.
But he's trying to take over the body regardless.
No, he's trying to bring him back to hell with him.
Oh.
I think.
I thought he was trying to just switch bodies. Take over become the little boy. I thought that was the point of doing the ritual and everything, because he has the same powers as Mephisto.
Or he was trying to unlock his power, or try to get him, because they were trying to do this ritual thing. I don't really remember. It's been years since I've watched it.
I'm trying to figure out this because I feel like he's trying to take over the body of the little boy. That way he can stay on Earth longer. Because that's the whole point of taking over a new host. It just gave me about after a Ghost Rider kills Blackheart, he launches this chain, flips the car, attack. Wait, what? Oh, Blackout. My bad. Not Blackheart. Oh. Yeah, here it is. He senses a power in a young boy and tries to take the boy's soul and appears on the boy's birthday. So he's trying to take the little boy's soul.
Okay, that makes sense.
I thought he was trying to take the boy's soul, but also take his body in the process. That way he can stay on Earth longer. A little confusing. It's been a while since the second film.
Yeah.
But I think I've watched the second film more than I have the first one.
Yeah, I've definitely watched the second one more. For some weird reason.
I think it's because of the way the stakes are in that film.
Yeah.
Especially with I will say the coolest part of the second one, in my opinion, is the scene with him racing down the highway on the motorcycle as he's struggling to maintain Johnny, but switching back and forth between the rider.
Yeah.
Like his eye turns into a socket, then turns back.
Yeah.
He blows flames out of his nose and everything.
Yeah.
That's cool as heck.
I also like the part where he sends Mephisto back to hell.
Oh yeah, with the chain.
With the chain, yeah.
That was cool, honestly. Especially with the fact that it burned the Mephisto up and upon going back down.
Yeah.
That was cool. But next up, we bring in Blackheart, his son.
Yee.
Blackheart is Mephisto's son and the secondary villain. How does his role in the movie compare to other superhero movie antagonists? Does he feel like a real threat, or is he just another generic villain?
For Ghost Rider, I would say he's... he is, in the comics, he is a very big threat.
Oh yeah, he's a big threat in the comics.
He's a very big threat in the comics. In this...
Movie-wise,
In this, I would say he's just another generic villain, honestly.
Yeah, I can agree, because he doesn't do anything.
No. It's like he gets his henchmen to do it.
Heck, the only time we've seen him actually do something was when he slaughtered everyone in that biker bar. And
then he took all of the souls out of the town of San Venganza.
Yeah, and that. Well, he also killed that guy that was the manager for Johnny.
Yeah, Mac.
He may have killed a priest in that church.
Yeah, he did kill the priest.
Okay, he killed the priest in church.
Because we end up seeing that when Ghost Rider used the penance stare on him, you see the priest's face.
Okay. So, he really just... There's only really like 4 instances of him doing something himself.
Yeah. But that's how Blackheart is, though. Especially in the comics. He's a manipulator, just like his dad. He's a very big manipulator.
True.
And he's tried to manipulate Wolverine, I know. He's tried to manipulate Wolverine, which actually Wolverine's very easy to manipulate. Especially if you bring his family and friends into it.
Oh, so he's like the Knuckles of X-Men.
Pretty much.
Because Knuckles always falls for Eggman's manipulation super easily.
I wouldn't say it's super easy. Like, he kind of, he sees it, but at the same time, he wants to be protector.
Well, with Knuckles, it's anytime you mention the Chaos Emeralds or the Master Emerald, because he's the guardian of those things, being the last Echidna.
Yeah.
So, when you bring those up, he's very easy to manipulate.
Yeah.
So, I would say he's more like Knuckles, honestly, from Sonic.
Yeah.
It's just too funny, in my opinion.
Yeah. But it's Wolverine, and then he's also tried to manipulate Daredevil. But Blackheart was actually first seen in a Daredevil comic, not Ghost Rider.
That makes sense.
And
I mean, to be fair, Mephisto was also his own thing before Ghost Rider too.
Yeah.
So it makes sense for his son to also be the same way.
Yeah. I think it was Daredevil 200 and something.
I wonder how that would have gone, honestly. I'm kind of curious about that comic now.
Which Daredevil can be... I don't know.
I feel like he could be a little...
I think he could be a little hard to manipulate, but if you bring his friends and family into it, he will bend.
To be fair, I think also because of the fact that the way Daredevil is and everything, especially seeing the fact that he is blind, he has more of a heightened sense of hearing.
Mm-hmm.
So he can easily tell the differences in the tone of voices that you use. So he can probably depict when you're manipulating
he uses heartbeat.
him. Oh.
But if they don't have heart...
That's true, he can't tell.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he may have also had heightened hearing as well.
He does, but not that to tell what the his tone of voice or anything. That just sounds normal to him. That's just normal.
I just kind of figure, honestly, for heightened hearing, honestly, it would make sense.
Heightened hearing is like hearing like a siren that's like 20 miles down that way.
Well, I'm not talking like Superman hearing.
Well, he technically kind of does.
Oh.
Not maybe Superman hearing, but he does have that kind of heightened hearing.
Well, okay.
He can also hear people's voices from like the next floor up. And he can hear when people are coming upstairs like 3 flights down. Like, that's the kind of heightened hearing that he has.
Okay. Well, I figure he might be able to do that, honestly.
Well, yeah.
Because especially with the fact that the person is standing right in front of him,
Mm-hmm.
it'd probably make it far easier to do.
And he's also trained in martial arts.
True.
He was trained by a guy named Stick. I know a lot about Daredevil.
I don't know
He's
a
my
lot
other
about
favorite.
Daredevil.
But anyway.
How about this one? The dynamic between Blackheart and Johnny is central to the movie. How does the battle between vengeance and redemption play out between these two characters?
Honestly, there's not really much between them, though.
Yeah.
Other than Blackheart taking Roxanne at the end of the film. It's really towards the end when they actually have their first confrontation.
Yeah.
If you really think about it.
Because they've literally only came face to face twice. The first one was in the train yard.
Yeah.
Or no, 3 times, sorry. Train yard, when he took Roxanne in his actual apartment, where...
Yeah, his apartment.
Basically his apartment. I couldn't think of it. It had an actual name for it since he used a lift from a garage, his garage specifically, to get up to it.
Yeah.
And then actually at the town.
San Venganza.
Yeah, there. I'm not going to attempt to say it.
San Venganza.
Yeah, because I know I'm going to
It's
butcher
with
the
a V,
heck
not
out
with
of
a
it.
B.
I'm going to butcher the heck out of it if I try saying it. But you only confront each other 3 times throughout the whole film.
Yeah, so it's like, I don't really think they have... Really, the...
To fair, they also played Johnny's
Really,
favorite.
the conflict is between Johnny and Mephisto because of him getting the Ghost Rider from him.
Yeah, I think Blackheart was kind of shoveled in.
Yeah.
And now looking
Which,
on
even though I said that, I feel like Blackheart's the main villain.
He's the main villain, but at the same time, the way he's done, it feels like they were just last minute shoveled in.
Yeah.
And they did.
It's like, oh yeah, we need plot. Boop.
To be fair, it also could have been that the second movie was actually the plot for the first one. But then they decided, okay, no, this don't work out good.
Yeah, I can see that.
Because it would make... Well, actually, that would make a lot more sense. He's trying to get rid of the Rider. If he got in the first movie, it would make sense for that to be the plot in the first movie. Him trying to get rid of it.
Well, if you think about it, Johnny didn't know about the Rider at all.
True.
Until then.
But then again, the story for the second one does feel kind of rushed.
Yeah.
So it goes through the story pretty dang fast.
Yeah, it does.
So that's what I'm thinking is maybe...
time moves really quick in that movie.
Yeah, maybe that's what I'm thinking like him like keeping the rider inside of him instead of like taking control at all at night is part of the first movie because he's trying to keep control of it after becoming it the first time.
Yeah.
But because we do see him trying to control the power somewhat when he tried when he lit those candles on the wall with the flames.
Yeah.
It's like he's trying to get control of it, and then in the second film, all of a sudden now he wants to get rid of this all entirely.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like the second one is supposed to be the first one, but then they decided, no, what, we're going to shovel in Blackheart.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it would have made a lot more sense if it was the first one.
Maybe.
Because Blackheart, I think, would have been good for a second movie villain. Because it feels like Mephisto should have been the first villain of the movie in the first one, and then Blackheart in the second one.
Because he had to have a reason to turn into the Rider.
I mean, to be fair, seeing the
what
fact
would
that
have
he
been the reason if not Blackheart?
He reunited with Roxanne.
Yeah, but that wouldn't have made him turn into the Rider, though.
True.
Because that's love. That's not vengeance.
True. Well, it depends on how... Well, then again, we don't see her in the second film.
Yeah, we don't... Well, he's
he
riding away by himself. He's riding away by himself on the bike.
Not to mention, she's not even mentioned in the second film, period.
Yeah, so she's kind of like an afterthought in the second film.
It's almost like you could like made it to where he's after Mephisto because he killed Roxanne
or something.
So
like
that would be the revenge to become the Rider.
That would have been way better.
Because it's like almost like the second one, they completely forgot about her.
Yeah, that would have worked out way better because it would be like the beginning of the second film, like they're probably like happy somewhere. And then all of a sudden she's in a freak accident and you see Mephisto standing over
off
there
in the distance.
Just like with his dad.
Exactly.
Like that would have been so much better.
That
would have been a lot better.
It's like most movies, they have a thing that doesn't make sense about them.
Yeah.
And it's like almost like they were not supposed to be that way.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to be completely backwards.
Yeah.
Turns out the Spirit of Vengeance is actually the prequel.
Yeah.
Shoot. But I feel like that would have been done.
Yeah, Spirit of Vengeance is a prequel, and then Ghost Rider is the flashback.
Yeah. Giving more backstory of what happened with Johnny.
Yeah.
Well, then that would make Ghost Rider the prequel then.
Yeah.
Because that won't be the main story. Spirit of Vengeance will be the first movie, and then Ghost Rider will be the prequel explaining what. I got hiccups. Dang. And then Ghost Rider will be a prequel telling how he got the form and why he's after Mephisto.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it does a short like recap in the beginning of it.
Yeah.
Especially the fact that it does mention about a trick called with that 360 bare ass maneuver.
Yeah.
And it's like, where was this in the first film?
Yeah, where was that?
Not to mention, it also had his dad in the hospital, be alive still, and then died.
Yeah.
While he died actually on scene.
Yeah.
So it's like almost like it kind of retconned how his father died fully.
Yeah.
But still
it's like
had
kind
the
of
freak
made,
accident.
It made that kind of like a what would you call it? I'm trying to think of the word. Not a paradox, but
a what, contradiction?
Yeah, it contradicted it.
Yeah. Because that's what I'm thinking. It's like maybe the second film was actually supposed to be part of the first one.
Yeah.
And he's going after Mephisto because of killing Roxanne.
Yeah.
So then the second film will be go after Blackheart because he is Mephisto's son,
Mm-hmm.
and he's trying to get the souls. That way he can take over the Earth.
Yeah.
So it gives him a reason to go after Blackheart regardless because he's trying to get those souls.
Right.
It's just the only downfall is it takes out Carter Slade.
Well, no, because he has to get the contract somehow.
Well, I'm talking about it takes out Carter Slade entirely from the first film. All the stuff that he was telling him about how the Rider works, and then saves it only for the second film. Then
I don't know. I think you lost me. I think you've just lost me.
I confused myself there. Yeah, it feels like the story for the second film feels like it should have gone with the first film, but done differently a little bit. Take out the kid, take out the random girl.
Yeah.
And have it where it's only Mephisto, Roxanne, and Johnny.
Yeah.
And then the second film, then make it Blackheart and then Johnny.
Yeah.
And with Carter Slade as well. That way you got more detail about how the Ghost Rider works, and not to mention the backstory of previous Ghost Riders.
Yeah.
Because it does feel like it was a little rushed with the introducing, hey, here's Carter Slade. He's also still a Ghost Rider in the first one.
Yeah.
Because you don't see that till the end of the whole film.
Yeah, I can see that.
So it's like one of those things where I think they lost, like, they decided to save that stuff for the second film, and then it just did not match.
Yeah.
But then to, like, fix it, quote unquote, they made the Ghost Rider's rider form more gritty, darker also, because now he's completely a black skeleton with it almost like it's peeling with how charred it is.
Yeah.
Almost like
almost like his bones have aged.
Yeah, like he's been the rider for a while, but at the same time, it's almost like it's hurting him to become the rider now.
Yeah. I also like the detail that he has to drink a lot of water after.
Yeah, that too. What happened to that in the first film? Because he only did that one scene, and that was when he became it the first time. After that, he did not drink a lot of water after that. But in the second one, he's constantly doing it.
Yeah.
But then
because maybe now it's hurting him more, or maybe it's affecting him more.
True, and he does admit that he's been holding back the rider from coming out, so it would make sense for it to be hurting him and also burn more now.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, we see him drink a whole pitcher of water.
Yeah, he just, like, drinks, like, he chugs it.
Which, I mean, props for Nicolas Cage for doing that.
Yeah, props to you, Nick. That's
I could not deal with that. That's too much water for me.
I'd be waterboarding myself at that point.
Yeah, not to mention, I think he drank the whole pitcher.
That's crazy. Good on you.
But now for a thematic exploration. One of the film's central themes is redemption. Do you think Johnny Blaze's journey is more about self-forgiveness or about seeking vengeance on those who wronged him?
That's a really good question.
I feel like it's both.
Yeah, I feel like it's both too. I feel like it leans more towards that first part.
Self-forgiveness?
Yeah.
I can see that because the reason why I say it could be a little bit both is because he's still seeking vengeance on Mephisto for taking his father away, but also cursing him with this power.
Yeah.
Even though he basically accepts the fact that he does have this power at the beginning of the first film. Mm-hmm. So it's almost like while yes, it is a self-forgiveness about making the deal and being stuck with this and causing his father to die because of that.
Yeah.
It also feels like he is seeking vengeance to get back at Mephisto for causing him that.
Yeah.
So I can see it both ways.
Yeah, I can too.
The movie relies heavily on special effects to bring Ghost Rider's power to life. How do you feel about the CGI used to create the Flaming Skull, Chantax, and other supernatural elements? Did it stand out for you, or did it feel too dated?
I feel like it still holds up pretty well even to this day.
Especially the motorcycle transforming.
Oh, yeah.
That still holds up pretty well.
Or even the CGI of him turning for the first time.
Mm-hmm. Even though the movements are a little exaggerated, but the CGI of him actually, like, the skin burning off of him, that's still pretty good.
That's still very, very good. Yeah. It's just, like, for it being a 2007 film, that CGI still holds really, really well.
They did a really good job with that.
They really did. Again, I don't think it deserved the ratings that it got.
Yeah. Alright, next would be the flaming chain and hellfire powers are iconic parts of the Ghost Rider's arsenal. How do these effects add to the action scenes? Do they make the character more memorable, or do they feel too flashy?
I think it's a bit of both.
Yeah.
But I do like how Ghost Rider upgrades throughout the movie.
Yeah, he gets smarter with his attacks each time.
Well, no, he upgrades. Like, he gets the he didn't have the chain at first. Like, he was just him and a motorcycle.
Yeah.
And then it was either Blackheart or somebody that ended up pulling the chain down with their powers, wrapping it around his neck and trying to hang him.
It was that wind demon.
It was the wind demon.
He had launched him into the chain that was actually hanging down.
Yeah,
and it just happened to wrap around his neck.
Yeah, and then that didn't work, so he ends up pulling the chain down, and then that's how he gets the chain. And then later on, when Johnny gets arrested and he's thrown into these things of people, that's how he gets his iconic outfit with the spikes and stuff, with the gloves and everything.
I do like the fact that he just drags his finger across his cells and just burns them. I love the fact that they add detail of showing the fact that, yes, he is in fact burning it by also flicking his hand like he's putting out flame almost.
Yeah.
I do like the fact that he does add that little detail.
Yeah.
But let's see. Let's go with the tone of the film. The film has a dark and gritty tone, but at times it also feels campy and over the top. Do you think the movie successfully balances these elements, or does it feel uneven?
I would say it feels uneven at times, but at the same time it's balanced, so it's like you can't really pick and choose.
Yeah, you have like you have a lot of these low moments, and then you have all these like action moments, and then right back down to these low moments.
Yeah.
So it does balance it pretty well, but at the same time, it does feel a little uneven.
Yeah, it like goes back and forth pretty good.
Okay, here's a good question. How's the film's tone compared to other superhero films at the time, and does it have a unique feel, or does it blend in with all the other darker comic book adaptations?
Well, if we want to talk about what films were coming out at the time, MCU really didn't start until Iron Man, and Iron Man didn't come out until 2008, which is the next year.
Yeah, this is more so fun with like the early Fantastic Four.
Yeah, stuff. Early 2000s was like Tobey Spider-Man, and then the Fantastic Four, and then it was Ghost Rider. Those are really the starting movies. That's what really, those movies are what started the superhero genre in general. And then Iron Man just kind of took it to a whole new level.
Yeah, they definitely stepped up with Iron Man.
Yeah, they really did. And funny enough, Iron Man's script wasn't even complete when they filmed it.
That's funny.
They a lot of the movies improvised.
See, that's funny. That's actually perfect.
Fun fact.
Also.
But then again, it's RDJ. He improvs a lot.
The man works best when it's improv.
He really does, though. He really does.
I feel like this also contributes to Nick Cage also.
Yes.
They both do a good job at improvising.
Absolutely. So, for the time period that it's in, Ghost Rider is definitely its own unique thing. For that time. Specifically. Because he was really the first dark anti-hero, I guess is what you would call him, to have a movie made of.
I would say, he's definitely, while yes, he is considered a hero, he would definitely be considered an anti-hero.
Yeah.
He'd be along the lines with Deadpool and
because
such.
Because he can kill or not kill.
Mm.
But it really depends on the person's sense, as we've mentioned before.
Yeah. Let's see, I think probably a good enough time for two more questions that I think are very good.
Okay. Bring it on.
Do you think Ghost Rider deserves a bigger place in the MCU, or does his story work best as a standalone film? And would you like to see a reboot or integration of the character into the MCU?
Yes. All of the above. I feel like Ghost Rider deserves it. Because of the way they did him in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., I feel like...
Bigger place in the MCU or standalone film? You said yes.
Yes. Because he does good at both.
He does, honestly.
He does, like, he's good as a standalone character, and I honestly think he would do great in a team as well, because you see that in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., how the Ghost Rider is with a team.
I feel like he'd be good for being on a team, but also causing a conflict by how he works.
Yes.
And then the team finding a way to work around that.
I just had a funny scene playing in my
head. Oh no.
So think about him being on the Thunderbolts.
Honestly, that'd be kind of funny, but also kind of cool at the same time.
I imagine Yelena just going up to him and being like, "No, don't you do that, bad Ghost Rider, bad. No."
Honestly, I can feel like her and Johnny would actually get along.
I feel like they would too.
Not the rider, but Johnny himself.
Yeah, I think they would get along pretty well. Not necessarily Johnny, because there's many different iterations of Ghost Rider. Yeah. So you could do literally
But Johnny's
anybody.
More so like a very... He's
the
a very
most
easygoing.
He's the most well-known rider.
Yeah. He's very easygoing, but he can be serious when the time calls for it, in the comic-wise. Because, I mean, this is the same man who also overthrows Mephisto and becomes the ruler of hell in one comic.
Really? I didn't know that.
He actually defeats Mephisto and becomes the ruler of hell.
I know he eventually does.
Yeah. He even has a little flaming crown also.
That's cool. I didn't know that.
And takes the throne and everything. But, let's see. The next question. The film wasn't universally loved, but Ghost Rider has a cult following. Why do you think the film has remained popular over the years, and is it due to Nicolas Cage's performance, the action scenes, or the supernatural elements?
All of the above. Which, for us, we grew up with it.
True.
And I think that goes for a lot of people, especially nowadays, since we grew up with these Nicolas Cage movies. But
I mean, it's Nicolas Cage.
It's Nick Cage. What you gonna do, huh? What you gonna do?
It's like being mad at the fact that there's a movie with Bill Murray.
Yeah. It's just, like, you can't knock the, like... Which, of course, when did the first comic for Ghost Rider come out? Do you know?
Not off the top of my head. Let's see. His first comic appearance... Well, are we talking about, like, his own Oh, yeah. The character known as Ghost Rider first appeared in Marvel Spotlight number 5, and it was published in 1972.
So Ghost Rider's been around since 1972.
And this was before he had his own comic. This was Marvel Spotlight.
Yeah. So he's been around for a while. So he's already had a lot of people excited about it. In 2007, I believe, is the first time he's ever been on screen.
Yep. That's his first on-screen appearance is that movie. Which is ironic that it's his own standalone film also, with him as front and center.
Yeah, so critically, it was not a good movie, and audiences didn't really like it because of, I'm guessing, their own reasons.
I think it was at the time because a lot of people probably were more into the comics and was upset that it didn't follow them, like a lot of people do for these Marvel films. Is like, you don't do such and such and everything.
But nowadays, it's like we've come to appreciate what we've been given. Especially
with how limited technology they were wielding back then.
Yeah.
You couldn't really do much, especially with the fact that as unique as a character as Ghost Rider.
And also I want to bring up that Marvel did have creative freedoms making this movie, but Sony was at the head of it.
Yeah. So it's mainly Sony that was really behind this, but Marvel did have their input on stuff.
Yes. Marvel
So-
did have an input. But Sony did have the rights at the time.
Yeah. So, but at the same time, you're also very limited at the time for what all you could really accomplish with this character.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's
Because-
kind of unique in his own right.
What was the rating for this movie? PG-13?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean,
PG-13.
you couldn't really do much.
A storm between R.
Yeah, if they would have done Ghost Rider to rated R, I think they could have done a whole lot more.
Yeah, especially with the fact that how his abilities work, especially with the fact that they attack the soul so much.
Mm-hmm.
Let's face it, all his power is basically a soul attack also,
Yes.
along with physically hurting you.
Yes.
So it's like, this is a new level of power that has not been really done in the film wise until now.
Yeah.
Even so, it doesn't really show that as much in the first two films, honestly.
Yeah.
I think in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. it kind of expanded on, especially the fact that giving him the ability to make a portal with his Hellfire, which he can do in the comics. That's canon.
Mm-hmm.
Because this is the same man who also outran Mjolnir.
Mm-hmm.
He outran Mjolnir, Thor's hammer. So, I mean, he's got a lot of power, honestly.
He really does. I
But-
think a lot of people underestimate how powerful Ghost Rider can be.
Yeah, but at the same time, you can't underestimate him easily, especially the fact that he doesn't fully go all out, and that's because of Therathos.
Mm-hmm.
Zarathos. I keep saying that wrong every single time. Zarathos, because he's being so limited by the host,
Yes.
he's not fully utilizing all the power that he has.
Because I would assume that if he were to try to use all of the power that he has, the body would burn up.
Not necessarily. It's just that there's no guarantee that he's going to be able to take back control.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, Zarathos is very powerful in his own right.
Yeah.
But it's the fact that he's only being limited because of the fact that he's sharing a body.
Right.
That's the only reason why he's being limited as much.
Mm.
But it's more so, we don't know the full capabilities Zarathos is able to do because of the fact that limitation.
Yeah.
I think he's only been able to take fully control in maybe 2 instances, I think.
Interesting.
I can be completely wrong about that because I haven't read a lot of the comics,
Uh-huh.
but I've only found very few. But Zarathos has been able to take full control, and it's very devastating.
Oh, wow.
But Johnny, in the end, is able to take back control, but it's very hard for him to do.
Interesting. That's all for today's episode of Popcorn Unscripted.
Thanks so much for tuning in.
If you enjoyed the conversation, be sure to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at PopUnscripted, then Popcorn Cinema on Facebook.
And let us know your thoughts or any suggestions for future episodes. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any future episodes. We upload every Wednesday and Saturday.
If you'd like to send us a message or subscribe for bonus content, check out the links in the description.
Your support means a lot and helps keep the conversation going.
If you enjoyed the episode, don't forget to leave us a review. It helps us out a ton, and we love hearing your thoughts.
Until next time, keep your popcorn close.
And your movie critiques closer.
Thanks for listening to Popcorn Unscripted.